And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Friday, March 19th. I'm Gary Stevens. It is the third Friday of the month, and at this particular time, we are normally joined by the lovely lady that we call the phone lady. She is Ruth Gaudard from AT&T, the Michigan office in Lansing. That's where she is, and that is where she joins us via the Zoom connection. Ruth, good morning and welcome back to Talk of the Town.
Good morning.
Glad you are with us. Yeah, I know. It was a tough night last night over in.
It was.
Yeah.
Being a Spartan fan, it was painful.
Yeah, but at least they got in, and that's the important thing.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
We'll see
they tried. They played well the first half.
Yeah, we'll see what Texas Southern can do on Saturday afternoon. But anyway, let's talk about telecommunications with Ruth. If you got a question, of course she's with AT&T, but she can talk about the industry in general, be it cellular phones, be it broadband, be it other things as well. She'll be happy to talk with you about it at 395-1450, 395-1450. Ruth, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you. I'm not certain how much you can help us with us or talk about a little bit, because telecommunications companies have looked for other avenues, other ways to engage the public. Obviously, cellular phones, Wi-Fi, and other things as well. But also over the last few years, we have seen, especially on the cable side, the carriers dealing with home security. Is that something that AT&T is involved with, or is that something that, well, we'll leave it to other people?
At one time, we did have a security product. It was one that consumers could install themselves. They were very easy, included for doors and windows and everything. We no longer have that product. We've pretty much left that to the security industry. We're focusing on other areas, especially in the area of broadband. That has become such an issue, especially in light of the pandemic. And it's highlighting of the fact that there is a good portion of the population that has no access or little access. And that includes the affordability factor, which the FCC, which the federal government has acted on now, with allocating money from the federal government. It's called the Emergency Broadband Fund, and it will give customers a $50 a month credit on eligible broadband, wireless and wireline. It'll be discounted right off their bill. And then the companies, get reimbursed by the federal government. There is an eligibility factor, but it's similar to the Lifeline eligibility, but it is greatly expanded. And customers can verify their eligibility. It's literally a matter of minutes when they get their verification back. And at that point, then they can contact a provider and get enrolled for the program. It does not, the federal government, it went into effect, or they passed it on February 25th, and it has to be up and running within 60 days. So at this point, everybody's just kind of waiting for the federal government to get their piece of it done. At AT&T, we have committed to participating in this program. It is strictly voluntary for the providers. We have committed to it, and we will not be doing our own verification. We will be using the federal verification system. that way it's all the same. And like I said, they actually get their eligibility verified within minutes. It's not like they submit it and have to wait a couple hours or a couple of days. They literally get it within minutes. So we are very excited and proud, because a lot of times it is a matter of it's available, but I can't afford it. So, and like I said, this really expands the eligibility. So it will be able to help a lot of people across the country.
Affordability is one thing, and that certainly is a concern. Also, being able to have broadband accessibility. That's the question. That's the word I was trying to look for as well. And that's not just an AT&T situation, but the other providers trying to reach not just rural areas, but outlying areas. And the first thing I think of when we talk about accessibility, make sure the UP is taken care of, because usually that seems to be the last frontier.
Yeah, and this program includes, like I said, wireless broadband, which in a lot of areas is going to be maybe the only option. And in the UP, we have expanded and improved our wireless network over the last 2 years by a lot. We have built additional towers up there. And so it does bring the availability to people. There's never going to be a case where hardwired broadband is available to absolutely everyone. It's just not going to happen, likely. Think back to when phone service first came in. Rural areas didn't have it. And then when they did get it, it was a party line type of thing. It takes time and a lot of dollar investment to deploy that product. And it's a process, not an event.
Yeah, I'm just thinking along the lines of accessibility as well as affordability. If you have a question for Ruth Gaudard of AT&T, she'll be happy to answer it at 395-1450, 395-1450. Another concern that comes up when we talk about internet situations, one is access, one is affordability, but also once you're online, having enough broadband. And I think the tech guys, no gender thing, it's just a general term there, Ruth. But I think the tech guys are working on trying to be able to do more with the bandwidth limits, I should say, that we have right now.
Right. And that's where wireless comes in, because it does provide a greatly increased bandwidth for people, along with accessibility, affordability, bandwidth concerns. There is also the issue of consumer adoption, and that's a big issue. Some people don't have devices, and this emergency broadband program from the federal government does give them $100 credit on purchasing devices. So there is that. But people say, well, I don't know how to use it. Well, then there needs to be some education offered, opportunity for people to go maybe to the local library. And I know several years ago, we partnered with ARP and we had sessions at local libraries where seniors could come in, bring their device, and one-on-one, someone would sit with them and go through, this is how you do this is how you do that. So there's, maybe that needs to be looked at, expanding that, starting that back up and expanding it to not just seniors. There's the people that say, well, I don't know what I would need it for. Well, for one thing, a lot of the vaccine registrations are online. So that's just one example. Everything seems to be moving online. So it's it's going to have to be, people are going to have to accept it and adopt it. But you're right, it has to be there and it has to be affordable.
395-1450, 395-1450 if you have a question for Ruth Gaudard from AT&T. This is going to sound like an innocuous question, I think, more than anything else. It's a phone question, actually. And I don't know whether or not you can answer this, Ruth. I'll be honest with you. We throw you curveballs from time to time, and we appreciate you trying to hit them when you can. Are we getting to the point where we're running out of phone numbers, running out of available numbers? The 3-digit area code and then the 7-digit phone. Are we getting to the point where we're running out?
I don't think so. We have seen over the years where new area codes get brought into existence. They're created, which then expands. Then you have a whole new area code with numbers. So I don't think so. That is I want to say a federal database for numbers.
I would also think it'd be international because we're dealing not only with the U.S., but we're also dealing with Canada. Right. And I think Mexico might be involved with this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that any one carrier controls. And remember, as as numbers as people disconnect, that their number is held for a certain length of time and then reassigned. Excuse me. And of course, people disconnect their landline, but they're signing up for a wireless number. So, there are opportunities for new area codes, new exchanges to be brought in.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is that it's getting to the point where almost every person either has a smartphone, a cellular phone, a landline, or, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Ruth, even if you don't have it as a device for a phone, your connection to a wireless, say a hotspot, you need to have that type of number.
If you're connecting to a hotspot,
not hotspot, I'm talking about, like, say, I have an iPad and I want to, be able to use my iPad. I have, without having to be next to a hotspot to have the connection.
You have Wi-Fi. You have Wi-Fi connection. And for Wi-Fi, you don't necessarily need a number, but you do need, if it's regular Wi-Fi, you do need a router. And you do need, that are connected to a line. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a phone line. As people are disconnecting their landlines, they're still keeping their internet, broadband. And a lot of times, even if it's through, say, Comcast or Charter or AT&T or anybody, that router is connected not to a number, but facilities.
Right. Let me get to a call before we button up our segment. Good morning. You're on the line with Ruth Gaudard.
Good morning. I got a question. I have a landline, and I get a lot of scam calls, and these rotor calls. Now, I notice they have private companies that can block these. Why can't AT&T block landline numbers where you're not getting all these calls you don't want?
We'll get that answered question. Thank you very much.
There is the ability to contact us and have those numbers blocked. Very definitely. Even on a landline, traditional copper landline.
Okay.
Very easy on a wireless phone or an voice over internet phone, but it is also possible. You just contact us.
All right, Ruth Goddard, appreciate your flexibility today since we were running a little late today on the segment. Hopefully we'll have regular time when we chat again in April.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Have a good week. Have
Thank
a
you.
good month.